All right, you guys, I know that we're all still in the morning after this freeze where it got down to, I think, a temperature that a lot of us just weren't prepared for and just decimated a lot of our tropical landscaping. I'm over here in Vero Beach, Florida, zone 10A, but it got temperatures down to 9B, almost into 9A, believe it or not. Reached 26 degrees for a few hours, which is just unheard of here, which just took out a lot of our landscaping as a result. And I know a lot of you guys are looking to look for replacement things that are going to be hardier towards the cold, and I just wanted to bring you through our garden and show you exactly what held up, what did surprisingly well, and maybe why it did well. So when you're looking to rebuild your garden, you can use a lot of these plants and tree choices. One of the first ones that I wanted to point out would be the foxtail fern. Now, this little guy is hardy as can be. I was up in Orlando yesterday, actually, and this is one of the only ones that was just looking like itself, really. Their USDA zones do go down to zones 9A, and they can handle all the way up to 11. So they're pretty cold hardy already. One thing I will say that does help them with their cold hardiness is these rocks down here. So these rocks will end up trapping heat from the sun, and they will store it and help warm up the plant. So that's why these could be looking a little bit better than you averagely see them. Now, one thing I did want to point out too, now these agaves, only one of them is in rough shape, believe it or not. This is the foxtail agave, the blue flame agave. They look very similar, but the blue flame tends to be a little bit more on the cold hardy side. So if you're choosing between the two, if you're a little bit more down south, I would still go with the foxtail agave because they just look a little bit better, more pronounced. But the blue flame agave actually does better in colder environments. The false agave seems to be doing pretty well, but I would also attribute that to the rocks below it, helping store that heat. I did see in Orlando where they're not looking as hot, but in this location, they seem to be doing pretty well. I do also want to say that this is more of a microclimate situation here, so this is going to be primarily a little bit warmer. You can see this microclimate situation right here in this bed where it's got the heat of this black gate right here, where a lot of the sun just gets stored on the top of this gate and then ends up warming the plant as a result. A good example is this Dieffenbachia right here, where it really doesn't have anything to cling on to. It's not looking too hot. But if you move over to here, you can see that it's pretty happy as can be. And what it's doing is taking the heat off of that paver patio right there and that gate, and it's actually absorbing that heat right there. So that's why that one looks a little bit better than that one. The same with this Dayun palm right here. He is looking like he is just unaffected. And I would attribute that a lot to that gate that it's touching right there. So a lot of these on the verge palms and plants, if they just have a little bit of extra help from the microclimate that you're setting them up with, they should tend to handle the cold weather a little bit better. Now, one of the exceptional plants I want to mention is these Farfugium down here. These guys look unaffected. They actually look like they're enjoying this weather, believe it or not. But they can survive almost all the way to Georgia. I believe they're either 8B or 9A USDA zones. So there would be a great lower replacement plant because they only stay about 1 to 1.5 feet above the ground. Now, one thing I'm surprisingly shocked about is how well these Imperialis bromeliads are doing. I'll just show you guys them really quickly. But they look really, really good. Now, I would attribute that to two things. Bromeliads do typically store water, as you can see right here. But during the freeze, you're going to want to make sure that you just take a blower and you blow all that water out so it doesn't freeze the inside of that plant. Now, one reason why I think that it did particularly well is because of these rocks right here. So these rocks are going to store heat from the sun, and then it's going to completely warm up its root system, which is probably why it is looking this good right now. Same with these Mammicrotons. Like, these Mammicrotons do not particularly like the cold weather at all, or really any croton at that. But because of these rocks are down here warming up its root system, you could just tell they're looking a little bit better than the ones that you would see just out in an open garden. Another look at these foxtail ferns. They are just thriving away right here. These Johannes bromeliads did seem to be doing pretty well at that as well. They look almost unaffected. And now, if you know anything about the Johannes bromeliads, they can survive in sun and they can also survive in shade. Now, right here is the Livistonia fulva. It looks very similar to the Chinese fan palm as well. But both of them, both are Livistonias, and they look really good right now. and they can survive up to zones 9A, I believe. But this is used as our backdrop palm, so if you're looking for a tropical palm, this may be a good one to go with. Now, one thing I do want you to keep in mind, when you're introducing new plants and trees into your garden, try to create microclimates to give them that little extra boost if it does get cold again. A lot of the reasons why these plants and trees are surviving so well is because of the microclimate that they're in. For instance, just look at these aglaonemas. They are in the perfect microclimate. Now, they like to be even in a zone above us, but because of the microclimate that they're in, they're able to survive here, and they handled this freeze like a champ, believe it or not, whereas they don't even like to be close to temperatures that low. But because they're near a wall, which traps heat, and they're also in a rock bed right here that traps heat, they're able to kind of counterbalance that and stay warm within that frost. So that's something that you guys may want to keep in mind when you're recreating your garden beds, is maybe to add a little bit more rock, maybe add a little bit more boulders, maybe to push them up to the house a little bit more, just to have them capture that heat that's stored within all those things. And that doesn't need to be everything, just things that are more cold sensitive, like those aglaonemas, you just want to give that extra boost to. This is a good example of the Chinese fan palm. She is doing amazing right now as well. Like the Livistonia fulva, they're both slow growing, but they do look amazing during this cold. Like they never missed a beat. Now this is the lady palm or rhapis palm. This is naturally cold hardy, but it's looking exceptionally well right here. We love using them in pots because they do tend to run a little bit, but she is handling this cold like a champ. And the last two things I want to mention is the Copernicia flensis. It looks a lot like the Bismarck palm, and that's exactly why people use them. It's just a slower grower than the Bismarck palm. This guy has been on our garden, I want to say about 3 years, and he looks like this, whereas the Bismarck would be a little bit taller. But I've seen him handle the cold better than the Bismarck. A lot of Bismarcks, they're hanging over or their fronds are dangling right now. He doesn't even look like he's affected. So this may be a good alternative if you like the color of the Bismarck, but you're wanting something that's a little bit more hardy. Lastly is the King Sago, and he seems to be doing pretty well during this cold, so definitely a viable option if you're looking for more of an accent figure to use within your garden. I know a lot of you guys are still trying to bounce back right now and even trying to figure out what to decide with your garden. I wanted to give you guys some good news of maybe how to go about introducing new things into your garden, maybe something that you like a little bit more. So try to look at this more as like something to start fresh and new. I hope this helped you guys. And if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And I'll put my last video up on the screen if you want to go and check that out. Thank you guys so much.